getting what she wants, which is money and power, greed.
Jeffrey Knight speaks out about the mind control that he feels is the truth behind Yelm's 35,000-year-old spirit. Then, it's the most
by claiming that she's the channeler of a 30,000-year-old spirit by the name of Ramtha. Well, since then, she's amassed thousands of followers and millions of dollars. But over the past few years, several people are claiming that this is just a cult and a form of mind control. And one of the people that's speaking out is her ex-husband, Jeffrey Knight. Well, recently, he announced to the world that he's gay and that he's carrying the HIV virus that causes AIDS. Well, tonight he talks with our own Mimi Gann and explains why he's now telling the truth about Ramtha.
I am Ramtha, the Enlightened One.
She's putting on this face and this act, and she's getting what she wants, which is money and power, greed.
46-year-old New Age guru JZ Knight claims to be a channeler of Ramtha, a 35,000-year-old warrior. Thousands refer to Ramtha as their savior, but JZ's ex-husband Jeffrey says she's a farce.
I was next to this woman's side for over 11 years, and I saw every facet of this woman. And now if I can stand back and tell you she's a farce, believe me, I'm not doing this as a vendetta. I am doing this because I earnestly believe it. Out of the teaching.
35-year-old Jeffrey Knight was married to JZ for 6 years until they divorced in 1989. He received a $120,000 settlement, but now he's suing for millions more amid shocking allegations of prostitution, infidelity, and abusive mind control.
Because my mind was monkeyed with by Ramtha and JZ, I was convinced or brainwashed into thinking that my ultimate destiny lied with this woman. My greatest happiness would be with her.
JZ Knight lives in this $2 million estate in the tiny community of Yelm, Washington. She's a former cable TV executive who makes her fortune raising prize-winning Arabian horses and selling her Ramtha teachings, which some refer to as a cult.
Know, love, and have the wisdom.
Some of the devoted, including actress Linda Evans, have moved to the Northwest to be close to their spiritual leader. Ramtha tells them they are their own God and that there is no right or wrong. However, Jeffrey claims that Ramtha's teachings are based on fear, urging followers to prepare for the end of the world.
These people need to prepare for that, and they need to store food up and dig an underground shelter and arm themselves to protect their shelters, and they do all those things.
Jeffrey also claims Ramtha's bizarre rituals can be dangerous. For example, followers are taken to a big field, blindfolded, and told to run at top speed in whatever direction.
When you have 1,000 people coming from all four corners of a big area, a big field, you're going to have crashes, and people are going to get hurt, and they have.
It was in 1979 that 21-year-old Jeffrey Knight first met J.Z. Burnett at an Arabian horse auction in Southern California. Soon afterwards, Jeffrey moved to Yelm to become Jay-Z's horse trainer. He also became a true believer of Ramtha and was totally dependent on the Ram's advice.
Everybody she knew was into this thing, and, you know, I think I was just young and impressionable enough to be able to be, you know, roped into something like this.
Jeffrey and Jay-Z soon began a romantic relationship. At the time, Jeffrey claims he was honest about his sexual orientation.
I had had some homosexual relationships prior to Jay-Z, and I told her about that. Before we got married, I told her that I had some confusion about my sexuality, didn't know what I was or what I wanted.
In spite of that, Jay-Z left her fourth husband to marry the much younger Jeffrey. 2 years into their marriage, Jeffrey tested positive for the HIV virus that causes AIDS. But he never sought medical treatment because he says Ramtha told him he could heal himself. Do you know how you contracted it?
No, I don't.
You don't?
No.
Have no idea at all?
No.
Was she ever tested?
Yeah, she was tested right after I was tested positive. She was tested and then has been tested a number of times. It had been tested a number of times throughout our marriage, and I even know she was tested for fact a year after our marriage, and so I know she does not have the virus, you know, as far as I'm concerned.
In 1989, after 6 years of marriage, J.Z. Knight filed for divorce from Jeffrey. Now he claims his $120,000 divorce settlement was unfair due to Jay-Z's great wealth. He also says he was under the influence of Ramtha and that he only agreed to the amount because Jay-Z threatened to expose his homosexuality and HIV virus to the world if he tried to contest it. Now, we requested an interview with JZ Knight to respond to Jeffrey's allegations, but she declined.
However, in court documents, Jay-Z denies exerting mind control or making threats against her former husband. And she goes on to accuse Jeffrey of consorting with male prostitutes during their marriage.
She's accusing you of being with male prostitutes. Is that true?
That is an outright lie. And, you know, unfortunately, that's what I have to deal with all through this case, is that I realize this woman will lie beyond any measure. She doesn't care if she perjures herself. She just thinks she's above the law and that she will get away with it. And if, you know, we want to talk about sleeping around, she slept around on her husband when she was with me, slept around with a 19-year-old when she was married to me, and, you know, has been married 5 times. So, you know, who am I to know that I didn't get the virus from JZ Knight?
Last year, with the help of a cult deprogrammer and a new companion, Jeffrey left the Ramtha teachings. He's now taking AZT to fight the AIDS virus.
I'm kind of running on borrowed time, maybe.
Today, Jeffrey Knight is not only fighting for his life, but for his dignity. And what could be a bloody battle in the courts, he's determined to fight his ex-wife to the bitter end.
To me, it's not about the money. It's about standing up for myself, taking back my power and standing up to her and to this farce of a teaching that is just a money-making business for her. If I was to die tomorrow, I would know that I had done something to make some people wake up and realize that they're involved in a very dangerous, very evil, corrupt thing. And they need to look at that. They need to realize, so be it.
Well, as we mentioned, JZ Knight refused our request for an interview, but she did give us a statement through her attorneys, and they wanted to remind all of us that as of this date, Jeffrey Knight's statements haven't been substantiated in a court of law, and she is totally convinced that the court is going to uphold her divorce settlement. And also, she says that she can't wait to bring her case into court. By the way, that case is going to court next Wednesday in Pierce County, and her attorneys say that she's going to have 25 people testifying on her behalf, including Linda Evans. Stay with us a little bit later in the